Well, good morning, everyone. Let's take our Bibles to Psalm 34:18 for promise number 347. And promise number 347 is this, that God promises that he is very close to the brokenhearted. In fact, Psalm 34:18 says this, says, "The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit," or contrite spirit. And that word "save" doesn't mean like Jesus saves, where we are eternally set for a life in heaven. It's basically the one that comes in and rescues us in our brokenness. And so he says that he's very close to us. Now, I think that those that are hurting or in a very dark place right now, they may find this really hard to believe, especially in the moments of brokenness. But God is close to us as we walk by faith in what seems so dark and so lonely. See, our knee-jerk reaction in our brokenness is to ask God why he left us. I mean, that's understandable. I get that. Just wondering what the deal is. And so that's why it's so important to prepare our relationship or fortify it before trouble comes. This is so hard for so many because we really struggle to think that we need God until we need God. But the truth is, we need God every day. We need to be walking with him every day, not just because trouble might come, but because every day is trouble enough of itself. And so, of course, we are to run to the Lord when trouble comes. I mean, I think people get that, but it doesn't mean that we can live far from him until we need him. That just doesn't make any sense, that we would be quite distant from him. And listen, I think a lot of people don't realize how far they are from the Lord because they're just living life. I mean, they're just doing the things that they think are the most important things, to take care of their families, to earn a living, to make a name for themselves and all those things. But they do all those things at the expense of developing a stronger relationship with the Lord, not realizing that at first it might seem like it will take longer, but ultimately it won't take longer because we'll be in lockstep with the Lord, working in his strength as we grow and mature in him. Same thing goes for trouble. Think about it. We need to be prepared for trouble. So many live so far from the Lord and run back when trouble comes. And because it seems to work at times, they get used to living far from the Lord until broken. But when we're broken, we need to be close so we don't have so far to run. I think that's the big issue right here, is that it may work in the little things, but when something big comes, I think that people find themselves too far, and it's too hard to get close to the Lord because they've allowed themselves to be as far from him as possible. But this verse tells us that when we walk with him, when we have that right heart that is towards him, he is right there when trouble comes. And there's no running really to him. There's just simply turning to him. The ones with the right heart toward the Lord and live to please him are told to move quickly into his care. But like I said, it's only inches instead of miles. It's more about speed than distance. He's not saying run really fast, really far. He's talking about how quickly we should turn to the Lord. Most people, like I said, live distant from the Lord and blame him when they have to run longer than they thought. But when we choose to walk close to the Lord, when we are actively working on our closeness to him, when trouble comes, he is close to us. And so let me just say this: don't allow yourself to be distant from the Lord. Don't allow yourselves to go pursue life at the expense of having a close relationship with the Lord, because that's what a lot of people do. They just do that. They get busy doing one thing or the other, and they keep adding to their own portfolio, their own lives, their own pursuits. And pretty soon, God is someone that they have to search for a church that has a service in the time that they've allotted for God, because they've used up their entire weekend. They don't have any nights of the week, so they're always looking for some place that happens to have 7-day-a-week services so they can jam God into their lives at some point. But ultimately, that's still just jamming him in and then going and living your life. And so I want to encourage you, walk in lockstep with him, because one day trouble is going to come. It comes for all of us. And when it comes, you want to be in lockstep with him, so that it's really about just turning in his direction and he's there for us. He promises to be close. Have a great day.